This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Welcome to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you by the Real Rosewood Foundation, established in 2003, Archer, Florida. We have a great show for you today. My guest is a longtime friend that I met or reconnected with recently. And she is going to talk to you and us about why she needs and would like to hear more about Rosewood. She's from Chicago. Her name is Mary, and I'm going to let Mary introduce herself. But before I ask her to introduce herself, I want to thank our sponsors, Making It Happen Marketing and Branding, Campus U.S. Credit Union, and attorney Jeffrey Meldon. And a special thanks to Steve Spurrier, Gridiron, for hosting Queen Lizzie podcast. As I said, I reacquainted myself with Mary during May of last year. We met at the Fifth Avenue Festival. Mm-hmm. And Mary is from Chicago, and she was happy to meet me. And I will let her tell you why she wanted to meet someone from Rosewood. Mary.
Thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Queen Lizzie. Yes, it was a pleasure to meet you. First of all, as you say, my name is Mary Swopes, and I am from Chicago. And I was happy to meet you,
Yes.
Number one, because I'm always open for learning about our history. And Rosewood has always been on my list to know more about, mainly because my family moved to Florida from Alabama back in the 60s. And then after I saw the movie Rosewood, it just really baffled me. And as you say, the day that we met at the art festival, yes, I saw you with the shirt that says the Rosewood Foundation. I went, oh my goodness. I get to meet a real live Rosewood descendant or affiliate. Yeah. And so I wanted to know more about it because it's part of our history. It's part of American history. And having a love for children, yes, and education, yes, I thought, if I can learn just anything else to share with my children, yes, I am excited. Because I think if we don't tell our children about our history, yes, then it's bound to fail and it will end. Right. And so we don't want that to happen. So in order to keep it going, we must connect with the younger generation. And we can do that in so many different ways. And one of the things I do is volunteer at my church, and I try to tell my children about it there. I volunteer in the public schools, and I want to relate it there. So anytime I have an opportunity, yes, I want to share our history.
And we must share it, because when we are silent, we all lose. We've got to talk about it.
Absolutely.
And I remember we talked and talked and talked, and you invited me to come and speak to your organization in Chicago.
Exactly.
This month. Would you like to tell us the name of your organization?
Of course. That's one of the reasons, too, that I was excited to see you, because I am a member of the National Association of University Women. Yes. And we are a service organization that focus on helping our communities. We work with children, the elderly, and other allied organizations that have our same interests at heart. We partner with the NAACP, we partner with the United Negro College Fund, and HBCUs. So we are always trying to enlighten our community
Right.
any way we can. And for the past few years, we've had people like you to come and speak with us. We had one of the descendants from Hidden Figures with us a couple of years ago. We had Booker T. Washington's grandson,
Oh, I know him.
Mr. Cabinets, and we had the cousin of Emmett Till with us last year.
Speaking of the cousin, I just left her a couple of nights ago. We spoke down in Ocala. I don't know if it's the same one. Her last name is Edwards.
It might be,
Yes.
but
Thelma Wright Edwards, I believe.
okay.
She's in her 90s.
Oh, yes, I know who you're speaking of now. They
Okay.
are related, I think.
Yes.
But this was Pastor, he was with Emmett Till.
Okay.
His name just slipped me. But it's Emmett's cousin,
Okay.
the one that spoke with us.
Okay, this is a male you're speaking of.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But anyway, and of course, when I saw you, I said, oh, this is what we want to keep our list going.
Well, I'm honored. I
yes.
am honored.
So I'm happy that you have consented, because this coming Saturday, February 18th at 12 noon, we expect you to be in Chicago.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. And we have people are really excited about hearing what you have to say. And as a matter of fact, just before I came over here, I received 3 calls saying, do you still have tickets? Do you still have it open? Of course. So everyone is looking forward to seeing Miss Lizzie at the, it's our scholarship fundraiser. And again, it just help us to reach a broader audience, to help our children get scholarships, because we have so many children who want to go off to college and don't have the finance. So
Exactly.
every dollar counts. So
And you know, this is tradition. We have always done this years and years. I went to a Baptist Institute college, and the Baptist convention of the Baptist ministers and churches really gave each of us a scholarship. Small, but it was a lot.
exactly.
Yes, and that meant a lot to us. And we've always raised money and protected our children to make sure they got an education. And very appreciative. But tell them, your friends in Chicago, to turn the temperature down. I don't do cold weather.
You know, I think the weather should be pretty decent. I was talking with someone today. They say it's about 40.
Oh.
So 40 there is almost like a 60
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Yes, because it's dry and it doesn't feel that cold. As long as the wind isn't blowing,
Yes.
you'll be good.
Okay, I am looking forward to talking with your organization. And you were speaking of organizations a few minutes ago. Last night I did a film or a promotion or an ad, that's what it was. I did an advertisement, and we talked about gun violence, because we know how the violence was related to the Rosewood massacre. And I said that we have got to, I worked with the 100 Black Men last night, Peaceful Paths, NAACP, I'm a life member, and there are so many organizations as we speak coming together here locally in Gainesville, and we are very concerned about gun violence. And I guess when we were talking about it last night, it was happening in Michigan, where these kids were killed. It's senseless.
Oh, my
We are
goodness.
so tired and fed up with the gun violence.
Yes.
Our kids
Yes.
coming to college to get an education.
Right. And that's so heartbreaking.
It
When your
is.
parents have struggled all these years
I
and send your
know.
child off finally to get an education and make their own mark in society, and gunned down so soon.
That is so.
It is.
That is so true.
Yes.
And as we continue to research, and I talk about Rosewood, I know I repeat myself, at these podcasts, but I don't have a problem with that, because whomever listened to it last week probably not listening this week, and if they hear it a second time, they know that it's important.
Right.
Okay, we do not need to repeat history.
That's right.
We've got to work together. We've got to educate our children, the next generation, so that
Yes.
they can carry the message forward.
Yes, and it's okay to repeat it. It needs to be repeated.
It does.
Yes.
So are you expecting children to...
Yes,
Okay, to
we will
attend?
have a few children there. In fact, we have one of our students who came through our mentoring program is now in college, and she wants to come back, so she'll be there. So
Okay,
that's just one. But then we have some who are seniors, and even some at the elementary level will be there.
Perfect.
And the teachers and parents wanted them to hear this.
Exactly.
yes.
I spoke at... I have been speaking all week.
I know.
Monday, I spoke at Stephen Foster School, elementary school here, and to the 4th and 5th graders. And the questions they ask about Rosewood just blew my mind.
I know.
They had not heard of it, and one kid, a little boy, raised his hand and said, "Mrs. Jenkins, I haven't been to Rosewood, but you have. How did you feel when you were in Rosewood?" Oh, it just tore my heart. I said, "Oh my God, perfect question." I praised. It was a good question. I said, "You know what? When I was in Rosewood, standing next to the historical marker, I could really feel the energy and the spirit of the people who once lived there." He said, "For real?" He understood.
Yes.
He understood my answer.
Yes.
For real? I
Yes.
said, "Yes, I sure want to go." They ask so many questions. I said to the teachers, "Please invite me back when I have more time, and I will talk to each class
Yes.
and answer questions."
Yes.
That's what I've done all of my life anyway.
Yes, and that is so important. And I'm a staunch believer that the more senses that can be involved when children are learning, the better they will remember.
Exactly.
Because when you can see, I used to tell my children, hey, you hold up your hand. If you can hear something, see it, smell it, taste it, and touch it, you're more likely to remember it
I like that.
better than just hearing it.
I like
So
that.
when they hear about Rosewood,
Hear,
see you,
see,
yes, just it's a 5-finger sense. Just you put
exactly.
your finger in your ear, the thumb in your ear, you hear,
Hear it,
see,
it,
smell it, taste it, and
and
touch it.
touch it. I like that. I
Yes.
like that.
You're more likely to remember better.
Exactly.
And so, especially at that level, because children's minds are open to learning
Yes.
at the elementary level. So when they
Yes.
hear about Rosewood, they see a
Yes.
person who's connected with Rosewood. They can shake your hand, talk with you, hear your voice. That is so profound.
It is profound, and guess what? He got the attention of the other kids.
Yes.
When I said, "Wow, a perfect question."
Yes.
I said, "That was a good question." And other kids were asking questions too. However, that question stood out because he wanted to know my feeling,
Yes.
how I felt
Yes.
about what I was telling him about.
Yes.
And I thought it was very important, very appropriate. Absolutely, it was.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So I'm looking forward to
Yes.
my trip to Chicago Thursday.
Yes,
Whenever
Thursday
we-
morning. Well,
Yes,
I am
indeed.
definitely looking forward to it. Yes,
Yes.
and I know there are others who are waiting on you.
Exactly, and too, I like to share our vision, and I'm going to share it again. The Real Rosewood Foundation, Inc. endeavors to empower humanity by exploring the Rosewood journey. and legacy to develop a better future for all. We are dedicated to preserving the history of Rosewood, Florida through research, education, and public programs. And my mom, who was the sister to the Rosewood school teacher, gave me this assignment, unwanted, okay, but I was born to do this, I believe, ordained, okay. I did not, but she said, you must research, document, tell the truth, not attack anyone, because they did not create Rosewood, and you did not create Rosewood.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But with help from people like you and other organizations, we got to become the change agent and tell America's history. And I tell people it's not my history.
Exactly.
It's our history.
Our history.
Our
Yes.
history. And we got to work together to accomplish some of these goals,
Right.
peaceful goals.
Exactly.
I just, when I got up this morning, my husband said, another shooting last night. I said, last night? He said, yes, it was another shooting. But he couldn't tell me anything else. But he
Yes.
knew it was a shooting. I said, gosh, we just talked about gun violence last night, and here it is, another shooting. People don't think what these parents go through when they arbitrarily just kill for the sake of
Yes.
killing.
Yes.
Because I know in 72, one of my brothers was killed, automobile accident. The worst day of my life. The worst day of my life. I can only imagine these parents and relatives going through this pain. Okay, so we are going to take a break here, and we will be back in a few minutes.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida and America's Black History.
and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Real Rosewood Foundation Incorporated program. I was telling you before we took our break, I was telling you that Mom said to take care of Rosewood history, keep it alive, and she also appointed my husband and I as the gatekeepers so that we can preserve it and tell its truth to people that want to know, encourage people to help us raise money to move the house that we were given on February 12, 2022. We were donated the John and Mary Wright Rosewood house, and we're going to move that house to Archer, but we need help. And you can help us by going to Rosewood, Florida, by going to www.rosewoodflorida.com and make a donation. We will appreciate a recurring $2 a month donation. Any little helps. So if you would be kind enough to do that, we will be very appreciative. And as some of you remember that Rosewood was a small town. Not very many people lived there after the sawmill closed in Rosewood. When that sawmill closed in Rosewood, they built another one in Sumner, which is approximately 3 miles from Rosewood. And this took place in 1913 by the Comer and Sons out of Jacksonville. They have today a museum in Jacksonville. If you want to know more about the Comer Sawmill, you can go there and explore their website and visit the museum. It's a very nice museum. So we're back to our Chicago trip, and I'm going to let Mary talk. If you have something that you've thought about that you want me to do, or when I get there. I know you have invited everybody, the elected officials and educators, so I'm looking forward.
Yes. Well, I was excited when I learned that you are in the process of setting up a museum to keep the history of Rosewood going. And so as a result of that, when you said you would come to Chicago, I wanted you to meet a friend of ours who's also a member of, she's a past member of the National Association of University Women, acronym NAUW. And her name is Sylvia England. And she has a African American museum now at the England Manor. And she believed that this particular house that she has her museum it was part of the Underground Railroad.
Really?
So she's looking forward to meeting you and serving you lunch on Friday.
Oh, wonderful. I'm hungry. All right.
So, Miss Sylvia, I hope you're listening. You know, Miss Liz is waiting.
Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting you, Miss Sylvia. I will bring you a book and donate to you for your museum.
Oh,
bring you one of my books.
How nice. Okay. Yes. So that is one of the things that is in store for you. And we have other members of different organizations that's waiting to meet you. We have sisters from your blue and white
family. Do you all see me, sisters?
Zeta, Sigma Theta. Yeah. So we have some Zetas waiting to meet you, and we do have local officials, the mayors, and some of our state representatives will be there, and hopefully to have a photo op.
Okay, perfect.
So. And we have another young man there who has his own community newspaper, and hoping to get a picture with you that can be preserved in the newspaper there, so we will have it, and you will get a copy later on. Yeah. So that's called The People's Voice. Brother Elroy Reed is the
perfect
editor.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, speaking of news, the media, I met a young man in January that flew down from Chicago during the centennial, and he is a photojournalist, and his last name is Owens, and I have invited him to come by and meet you all and meet me again, because I did an interview with him. And I don't know if he has printed it or not, but I will be happy to send you his contact information.
Please do.
So you can get in touch with him. Also, I have I have an email address. Because he doesn't check his phone that often. So I'm very, very, very excited to come to Chicago and talk to friends and share with them about my aunt and how I have worked daily. And I work daily, and this month has been busy. And I make sure I give my mother all of the credit, because she talked and wanted her sister's life to be remembered. And the reason behind that is because her sister suffered gang raped, and broken finger, the agony of defeat. She never recovered from the shame and pain. And it was shame because she never told her parents she was raped. But she told my mom. She told my mother everything, and mom told everything to me. And then she assigned everything to me. And as I have said in the past, when people ask me, Liz, were you happy or angry to receive that assignment? I was angry. I had my whole life ahead of me. I didn't want to spend my life doing research That's exactly what I have done. But today, I'm still angry. Well, I don't know if angry is the word, but I just miss so much. But in every family there is an assigned person to carry the family history on. They call it the burden of history. And it has been a burden of history. So my mom not only told me to remember, she told me to list her accomplishments. I said, what accomplishments, Mom? She said, by the time you finish, you're going to be able to list something that is connected to her. So what I did, I went to work even more and decided that in Tallahassee, they do a couple of magazines. One is the Black Trail, the Black History Trail of Florida. And I made certain her name and picture was in each of the two magazines. And today, it's there. And I knew we needed a historical marker. I give her credit. I call it her accomplishment, her historical marker, although I initiated it and worked extremely hard, wrote the script, worked extremely hard to make sure it was a marker there with her name on it. And I'm proud of that. And my mom was proud. She was deceased, but she still felt it through me because it was her idea for me to make sure I share the accomplishments. And another accomplishment, I was reading the paper one day and I saw where here in Florida in the year 2000, they were going to give all of the important educators or important people a plaque that they named Great Floridian Great 2000. I may have it reversed. Great Floridians 2000. And they were giving the plaque to 2,000 people. So when I approached Tallahassee, I had no credentials to show that she was a teacher and she deserved this plaque. So I called the Secretary of State office, Catherine Harris, and I shared my story with them. I said, I can't prove it. I said, but she was there. All of her credentials burned. They said, well, we'll check into it. They checked into it, and they sent me a plaque in her name. And my city of Archer, Little Archer, all white board commissioners voted unanimously to sponsor it.
Wow.
And because they sponsored it, it became there. They were the owners of it. So what I decided to do, not I, because they were still in charge, we decided to hang that plaque on the train depot that she disembarked on January 4, 1923.
Wow.
When she came on the train, the escape train. And that plaque, and I said, and I regret it, but I said it. I have a big mouth. I said, I know it's going to be down by tomorrow. Taken down. And guess what? 23 years later, that plaque is still hanging unscathed. They haven't touched it. It's beautiful. And every time I go by there, I said, that's her accomplishment.
Yes.
In my work. Yeah.
That's awesome.
She deserved it. Yes. And what makes it so rewarding, the elected officials worked with me.
Very good. And that's what's important. We keep the history going by working together.
Exactly.
It's not separating us. It's for us to grow together and learn together, appreciate each other's culture and contributions.
Right.
Yes, that's awesome.
And then I am a life member of the Archer Historical Society.
Good.
Where they meet weekly at that train depot and do different things garage sales. We have a farmer market there. And we're just trying to keep Little Archer on the map.
And that's important.
That's important.
Very good.
That's very important. So
Yes.
I say, my God, she has done this much, because I found out later that she went back to work in Levy County, 6 miles from Rosewood, 25 years, about 22, 23 years after the Rosewood massacre. Her mother had passed at that time, her mother Lizzie, that's what I'm named after.
Okay.
However, her father and my mom were still living. So when she told them that she was interested in a job in Levy County, Gulf Hammer, they thought she was crazy. Gulf Hammer, you want to go back to Gulf Hammer? She said, yes, I don't have any money. So she asked my dad if she could use his truck. She didn't tell him where. He said yes. She went to Brunson, knocked on the sheriff's door. He came to the door. He saw this black woman, and he recognized her and said to her, Gussie, what are you doing here? Harshly, because he was still afraid for her. And he was afraid for himself because they had fired him. And she said, well, there's an opening, a principalship opening in Gulf Hammock. I'm broke. I need the job. And you are the only person living that can vouch for me, that can tell the people that I taught school in Rosewood. He said, get in your car and get out of here. And as I said, he talked to her. He didn't know who was listening. Okay? And that's exactly what she did. He said, you'll hear from me in a few days. In a few days, he had gotten that emergency certificate for a principalship, for that principalship. Got the job too. I have a carbon copy of that certificate.
Wow.
So the sheriff was a decent man. He did what he needed to do to save the lives of the people in Rosewood.
Wow.
Do you have anything else that you would like to say?
Well, you asked me a minute ago about people waiting for you. I'd just like to say, too, that Dr. Gloria Swopes, who is the founder and CEO of the Lions Mathematics and Science Christian Academy, has students that will be at the program on Saturday to hear you. And I hope you will get to meet her, because she's supposed to be in town here soon. So maybe we might talk with her if you don't get to meet her before she leaves. But anyway,
Okay, wonderful.
there are just many others I could name, but due to time.
Is she
Just
your
thank you.
relative,
My sister-in-law.
Dr. Swoop?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking forward to meeting her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a native of Gainesville. In fact, you might
Exactly.
remember her mother, Miss Sarah McKnight.
Oh, very well. Oh, yes, we used to go down to Sarah McKnight and party like
Yes,
night.
yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember, but I don't remember her. Bobby McKnight, was she
Yes,
related
that's
to
her
him?
brother.
We were classmates.
Oh, my.
Yes,
Okay.
small world.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, we were I would love to meet her. Her mother was an angel.
Yeah.
Was my mom a best friend to
Yeah.
my mother? Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are looking forward to our trip, flying up out of here on Thursday and enjoying history in Chicago.
Amen.
Making it, okay, and breaking it.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time. It has been a pleasure.
It's my pleasure indeed. And thank you for inviting me,
You are welcome.
and keep telling the story.
I will.
Yes.
Thank you. And this ends our program for today.